I wanted to make a special commendation of our Secret Service. You know, when something goes wrong, when there's a fence jumper, everybody reports on it. The Secret Service had to manage the Pope's visit, President Xi's visit, and 100-something world leaders in an unprecedented fashion during the course of the last several days, and they did so flawlessly. And Joe Clancy, the head of the Secret Service, and the entire team and detail and protective services, they all deserve a huge round of applause for being such great hosts and keeping everybody safe.
And that was President Obama, who we may be hearing from in a moment about the Oregon shooting. That was him, of course, praising the Secret Service 2 days ago and coming close to pulling a heck of a job brownie. Once again, the Secret Service is in hot water, this time for targeting Congressman and House Oversight and Government Reform Committee Chair Jason Chaffetz in retribution for his investigation into previous Secret Service scandals, including agents in Colombia partying with hookers, agents showing up to work drunk, and basically your average day in the Carl Higbee household. Secret Service agent, I'm kidding, of course, he's a good man. Secret Service Assistant Director, his name is Ed Lowry, and other agency officials have been accused of leaking private information about Chaffetz, including the congressman being rejected by a Secret Service job back in 2003. According to discovered emails, Assistant Director Lowry told employees some information that he might find embarrassing needs to get out just to be fair, end quote. 45 employees, including 15 supervisors, saw the information on Chaffetz. Did I mention what they did down in Colombia was completely illegal, possibly criminal? Chaffetz, of course, released a statement today saying, and we quote, "Certain lines should never be crossed. It was a tactic designed to intimidate and embarrass me, and frankly, it is intimidating. It's scary to think about all the possible dangers and having your personal information exposed," end quote. Chaffetz vowed to keep investigating. Homeland Security Chief Jay Johnson apologized to Chaffetz. This as the White House has gone into damage control where practice makes perfect.
The Director of the Secret Service and the Secretary of Homeland Security both called Congressman Chaffetz personally to offer an apology on behalf of the agency. Both Director Clancy and Secretary Johnson, indicated a commitment to holding accountable those who may have improperly handled information. Obviously, an agency like the Secret Service takes very seriously the responsibility that they have to properly handle sensitive information, and the report that was released does raise significant concerns about whether or not all those procedures were followed.
But Ernest was quick to point out the good work the Secret Service does.
I would be remiss if I didn't restate something that I mentioned yesterday, which is that we did see a significant mobilization under the command of the Secret Service over the last week to professionally and effectively provide security for the visiting dignitaries to the United States.
The emotion is just overwhelming coming from Ernest, as usual. The Secret Service over the past 5 years has had some real issues, you think. Is the problem systemic? And Jonathan Gilliam, what would you do to fix it?
Well, first off, I don't know what's more dreary, him or that scene with the snow in the background that was on there earlier.
It was a timely shot.
It was a timely shot. It was Colombia in the summer.
Yeah.
Let me just say that whoever would leak this information to the Secret Service, it's pretty easy to pinpoint. It's either going to be an executive or it's going to be the person who was directly targeted by Chaffetz, however you say his last name,
Chaffetz,
and actually may have done something wrong. I think they need to look at the executive level in the Secret Service. That is most likely.
They know who went and looked at the file.
Well, then
40-some people.
And I just have a strange feeling we're going to see some executive level stuff going on. I think it's interesting how they tend to praise the Secret Service after they say some condemning facts, because the fact is they're protecting the president and probably Ernest as well.
You have some thoughts on that?
I have some thoughts on this. Here's the easy part. The House committee that Chaffetz runs, the Oversight Committee, has every right, in fact, obligation to investigate the Secret Service. That's number one. Number two, what the Secret Service did here to Mr. Chaffetz is absolutely, positively wrong. They owe him an apology. Unfortunately, there's nothing better you can do. Now, let's look at something else. And I'm going to say to everybody, if the shoe was on the other foot and it was was a Democrat, you'd be saying exactly what I'm about to say. If Mr. Chaffetz had this history with the Secret Service, where he had applied to be an agent, he was turned down, and therefore could, and I'm not saying does, but could have an axe to grind. He doesn't need to recuse himself. He doesn't need to not have. He should do exactly what he's doing with one thing. He should have disclosed that and told all of us, because we all run these investigations through the filter of how true we think it is. As I say, he could go ahead doing his job. I don't think it would color what he's doing. No harm, no foul, no crime committed by the congressman. But the chairman should have told us that he had this history, and he was wrong not to do that.
Higby. Well, let's go back to Josh Earnest. I mean, he's always been a beacon of moral accountability, defending the least accountable president ever. But the issue here is, who cares? You know, like, the guy applied for a job, he didn't get the job. I've applied for a ton of jobs, and I haven't gotten the job.
No argument.
Yeah,
but
you're right. He should
have.
Rick is absolutely right on that one. He should have come out right and said, well, you know, I applied for the job and I didn't get it, but now I'm your boss's boss, so who cares?
Just so everybody knows. Then it's above board, and now I trust the guy.
The down and dirty of it, though, this stuff shouldn't be going on in federal law enforcement.
No, it shouldn't.
It just,
It shouldn't be going on anywhere. It's illegal.
It shouldn't. No argument.
Let's put it this way.
ethically, just
That one gentleman who got it over the White House fence and into the White House in a room the president normally goes through, very easily could have been armed. If the president was killed in that situation, could you imagine, or attacked in any way? We'd be looking at all this saying, why didn't we stop it? Why weren't people fired? Why wasn't there more accountability? We were lucky in that situation.
Accountability, that's the name of the game, I think, here on all this.
Resignation, somebody needs to be fired for this. I'm sorry. I just have to go that way. Anyway, do you think the Secret Service crossed the line with Congressman Chaffetz? Go to newsmaxtv.com/comments and let your voice be heard. Up next, is Iran becoming a dominant power